so we're going to be talking about dendrology. So that's a study of trees.
You know, something tonight, and then they're going to go to the children's museum, and the children's museum is actually closed, and we're going to end up paleontology.
Paleontology is cool too, yeah. So it's a different kind of science, right? So dendrology, what do you think a dendrologist would do?
Study trees.
Study trees, right? But why would they study trees? What's the point of studying a tree? Yeah.
It's fun, and you get to learn about trees.
It's fun and you get to learn about trees, right?
And people get to know more about trees.
And they get to know more about them, right? So we have lots of people that study trees for different reasons. Some are forestry reasons. So they do cut down trees to make things, right? Some it's for conservation. They're trying to protect the trees, keep them from being cut down. There's lots of different reasons. They also have lots of tools that they use. So why do you think they need their tools?
Because it's kind of hard to learn about trees without them.
I'll get to you. Yep. It's kind of hard to learn about trees. Why?
If you don't have them.
If you don't have them, yeah. What was your question?
Well, what's your question? You started talking again after, right as I saw the reason. Another reason they could learn about trees is because certain ones are endangered. They can learn why they're endangered and protect them.
Yeah, so some trees are being impacted by disease, right? Or fungus, or insects, right? So they need to learn more about them, maybe how we can protect them. So some of these instruments though, what's this one? You know what that is?
Compass.
A compass. Why do they need a compass? Yeah, what if they get lost, right? So when we go on a hike today, I know the trail, so we're not going to get lost. But you could get a map to bring with just to know where we are. And a compass is helpful for them because do you think they're always going on a path to look for the trees they are planning to study? No, right? They just go off into the woods sometimes with no paths. We need their compass. What do you think this one right here is?
The wood is all the trees.
The woods are all the trees, right? Sometimes you can get lost in the woods. So you have to have a way to find your way back or know where you're going. So what do you think this one is? It's kind of taken apart right now. But this piece plugs in right here. So it looks like a T.
I saw a deer in one of the fields.
Good.
It was really close to the woods. What is it?
Good. So the deer, do you think the deer like the trees too?
Yes.
Yeah, they eat stuff from the trees. So I'm going to show you something. Keep this in mind, this tool. Ready? When I show you this. We call this a tree cookie. Do you guys like eating cookies?
Yeah.
I'm not a tree fan.
Do you think you would eat a tree cookie?
No,
Right?
I can't eat cookies. I have wheat.
No, that's true. Some don't. But yeah, a lot of them do. So for a tree cookie, you guys, this is just a piece of the tree. Like it's standing, right? And this is just a section of it. Well, this is like a corer. So it takes that little piece right there. It takes a piece of the wood from right here all the way into the pith right here. It takes a little bit. And then you see all these lines. Do you know what those lines are?
No. Years.
They represent how old the tree is.
They represent how old the tree is. So you can tell how old the tree is by counting all these rings.
If I count, can we count them?
I'm going to give you a little tree cookie. You can try and count them in a second, okay? So when you're counting all these rings, this larger section, this thicker ring, that's going to be earlier in the season when there's a lot of water, okay? When the tree's growing really fast. And this dark ring is at the end of the year when it's slowing down. The growth is slowing down. It's not growing as fast anymore. So those two rings together is 1 year. So you just have to count the dark rings. You want to do that really quick?
Or count the light rings.
A tree cookie? I'm gonna
You
give
can count the dark rings or the light rings.
So here, I'm going to give you guys one.
If you count
See if you can work with your friends next to you. Try and count a ring. And the adults can help too. So this is something a dendrologist might do, is count the rings and see how old a tree is. Do you think it's better just to take a little core sample or to take this whole piece?
Take a little sample.
Take a little sample, right? And then they'll put that core sample right back in the tree. They won't always take it with them.
I can't really see the rings.
You see any lines on there?
No. Like,
There's some. I can't hardly see them.
All done? Oh, you got
This
2.
one is 9 years old.
9 years old. Some of them it's hard to count because there's so many. But see, you can tell me your number.
Mine is
I'm
19.
gonna give you another minute.
Our trees are the same age. Yeah.
You count them?
You don't know? It's hard, isn't it? 12? It can be very hard to count them.
14.
14?
Turn it over.
Mine is 19.
Turn the thing
We're
over.
gonna make a tree cookie.
And see some
We're gonna
ones.
become a tree, so you'll get to see it. But here's a picture of a really large tree cookie. Do you see this tree cookie that
Yeah.
people are standing next to?
It's a cookie. Yum.
It's huge, right? So there's some trees like sycamores. Have you ever heard of a sycamore tree?
It has a white bark.
Yeah, good job. It has like a white look to it on the top. Kind of like it's thick, like the bark is falling out. But they can get really wide like this.
Mine is
Here,
19.
do you see the ears? They marked the ears.
My tree is
Would you guys like to make an inside of a tree right now and find out what inside of the tree that helps it work well? Okay, we're gonna do an activity.
Ours are both 19. Thinking maybe it's from the same tree.
It might be, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna collect these and we're going to, I'm gonna show you the inside of the tree and we're gonna make a tree in a little bit. Out of our bodies, we're gonna become the tree. So right here, you guys, I have a picture of a tree, the inside of it, and then all these layers that are inside behind the bark. Do you see that? The bark is on the very outside. So we have what's called the heartwood. It's in the middle. It's the very heart part of the tree that's no longer the living, functioning part. This part right here that is taken out, do you see that? That's made up of functioning parts that keep it healthy. So can you guys say xylem? Okay. So our xylem carries the water. Where do trees get their water from?
Rain.
The rain, yeah, but how does it get the rainwater into the tree?
From the soil.
From the soil, but what takes it out of the soil?
Roots.
The roots, right? So it will take that water from the roots into the xylem. Right here is the xylem. Do you see that? It's right next to the heartwood, that hard, no longer active part of the tree. Then this green one right here, the cambium. Can you guys say cambium? So cambium makes the xylem. So if you didn't have cambium, you wouldn't have anything to make the xylem that gets water to move through the tree. On the other side of that cambium, it also makes something called phloem. Can you say phloem? So our phloem acts to carry the sugar through the tree. Where do you think sugar is made in a tree?
The xylem.
Not the xylem. Xylem moves it, but where do the trees have to make their own food, right?
Yeah.
So how do they make their food?
The leaves?
The leaves, yeah, photosynthesis. Can you guys act like a tree right now? Put your hands out. And pretend you're sucking up the sun. Just pretend you're sucking it up. That's what the trees do. They suck up the sun, and as they do that with their leaves, they make sugar. Yum, right? How many of you like sugar? Like cake has sugar, cookies have sugar, Halloween candy has sugar, right? So it makes a kind of sugar for the tree. And the phloem is what moves that sugar through the tree, okay? And then you have your bark. Why does a tree need bark?
Protection.
Protection, right? If you take bark off a tree, is that okay for the tree? No, it's like if you were to remove a piece of your skin, can you get like infected if you remove skin? Like it was just open without a Band-Aid or something? Yeah, so they need their bark to stay healthy, right? So we are going to make a tree. Are you ready to make a tree?
Yeah.
Okay, so I need one friend to help me for the first section.
Like help organize
Can you stand up for me? Yes. Can you stand in back of those chairs? So you are going to be my heartwood. So can you make a sound like a heart? Yep. You're my heartwood. And I need two other friends. Can I have, we'll start with these two here. Can you go around him? Either grab each other, yeah, make a circle with your arms around him. So either grab So our heart goes, our xylem goes. Now I need our cambium. I need 3, maybe 4 friends for the cambium. 1, 2, 3. Can you go around them? We'll stand around them now. So my cambium friends, my cambium friends that are on the outside, we need a sound too. You're making the xylem and phloem. So what sound can we make for the cambium? Maybe we can go like this. Cambium, go like this. On your own hands. Go like that. You're making the xylem and the phloem, okay? Now I have my cambium. Now I need my phloem. We have my heartwood, we have the xylem, we have the cambium. Now we need our phloem. Can I get some more friends to help me in with the outer circle here? Your adult can come with if you want. We can get some adults in here. We might need you at the edge.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I need adults for bark.
So now my phloem. You guys are going to be the food. So you're going to need to go, right? So you'll stand in the outside. Perfect. You can walk around them. Can you walk in a circle around them? So you're not in front of us? There you go. So we'll go for the phloem. Now I need my bark. So I can get some adults in here too. You guys can go around them. You're my bark. So our bark is going to protect everything inside the tree. So what sound can we make for protecting the tree? What sound can we make for protecting the tree? What do you think?
Protection 100.
Protection 100.
That's a joke,
Sure.
fam.
Sure.
That's a joke.
We can just say protection 100 as we walk around them. Does that sound good?
No.
Just even quiet.
Yes,
Okay.
now everybody's doing the
Or ching. You can go ching for the bark. Can I get a few more adults in here to be the bark? Just so it's protection bark. Yep.
Protection 100.
So right now, I need all the sounds to be made at the same time to represent our tree working on function. So what happens, you guys, if I'm a woodpecker and I come in and go, what happens to a woodpecker and I'm nibbling in?
Ow! Ooh.
Yeah, ow, right? So I broke open the tree. What can get into the tree?
Bug.
A bug. A bug can get in. So the bug's crawling in. What's happening?
Protection for the dog.
Yeah, so it's not protected. So if the bark keeps going around, it's going to protect it. But as soon as something comes in, it can break through, right? We're going to be going on a hike next. But we're going to act like dendrologists, right? When we're on the trail, we're going to be looking at trees. We're going to be trying to identify them. And I am no expert at identifying trees. There's so many trees out there. I know some. But do you think I know every single tree? No, I do not know every single tree, right? But we're going to try our hardest to identify as many as we can, and we're all going to work together. I have a few helpful tips for you guys. There are clues out there. You guys know what a clue is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are clues to identifying trees. Can you tell me what some of those clues are? Leaves. So leaves are one of them. A sycamore leaf. Red oak leaf. What tree is this?
Sycamore.
It's our state tree.
Bells. What tree is that?
I'm not.
Tulip poplar, yeah, that's our state tree. So leaves we can look for to identify them. They can be either smooth, they can be serrated, or they can be toothed. Did you see these little pieces that look like an edge of a knife? Like a bread knife? Yeah, it's serrated. It's not smooth, it has points. They can be different shaped leaves. They're all different shapes, right?
Those leaves.
Fancy down.
Those are pretty cool leaves.
And we can look at the vines or the veins on the leaf, and they can be going straight up and down, they can be spreading out, or they can be like a hand through the leaf. So those are some things. What's another thing we can use to identify our trees? Good job. So we have lots of different bark out there.
Sycamore.
Sycamore, it has the white, sickly look to it, right? At the top, it looks like the bark is gone. Shagbark, looks like a shaggy bark falling off. Bats like to hang out in there. We have dogwood bark, flowering dogwood. It looks like scales. So those are two of the main things people think of, leaves and bark. There's something else though we can look at. Yep. Yes, perfect. So we can look at what falls off of the tree. So that would be like our acorns, our pine cones. There was another picture I had here for you guys. Seed pods, here we go. Capsules. You see that? If you open them, there's seeds inside. We have the nuts from trees that fall.
Walnut.
So be looking for those. Have you ever used these? Helicopters, right? Again, they're seeds, but they're fun to play with. There's flowers. That's a tulip, poplar fruit, but it flowers, and then it becomes a fruit. Acorns. Okay. And the honey locust seed pod as well. So there we have that. What's another thing we can look for while we're out there?
Different trees are different sizes and grow differently.
Yes, so they grow differently and they're different sizes.
Branches.
Branches, perfect. So I have some branches here, and I want you guys to go like this for me. Put your arms out straight. When branches, hold on, you guys. I don't know if there's actually a branch. When branches, do you see this one right here? Look at this. Is this what your arms are doing right now? Kind of, maybe. Well, if this had another branch coming out here, it would be an opposite branching, like you're doing right now, you're opposite branching. But you can't do this with your arms. This is called alternate branching. So trees do one or the other. Either they grow right across from each other, or they'll grow offset. That's what that's called, offset. Can you show them? Stand up. Yeah. So if your arm wasn't connected up here, but down here, that would be alternate branching.
Humans can't do
Good
this
job.
apparently.
So, look for alternate branching. What's another thing we can look for, you guys? There's another one. What's this? Sit down there. Bud. So buds look very different from each other. You can identify a tree in the winter by its bud. Look real closely and you'll see the bud of the tree. Some of them are fuzzy. Some of them have lots of scales, like a snake. They look like scales. Some of them are pointy. Some are round. Some are round.
Some are flat.
Some are flat, like the tulip poplar is a pretty flat one. It looks like a spoon. Some might be softer or more hard. What's something else you can look for?
Color.
So the color, you have the color of the branches. If you were to look really closely, inside the branch, they have different pith types. They look different, which we're not going to pull apart a tree today. But if you find like something on the ground and you want to try and like scratch it with your nail, you can try and see if you can see the inside the pith of the branch.
Sometimes I take sticks at home to make them better for playing with.
Yeah, it's true. How about this one? What do you think this is?
The inside of a plant.
Green ash and white ash.
It's green ash and white ash, but this is a scar. Have you guys ever gotten a scar on yourself before? You got a boot, like you got hurt, right? Got a boo-boo, and then it didn't quite heal like the rest of your skin. This is a scar. That's where a branch was and fell off. So they actually, sometimes it can be kind of funny. There's one tree out there that, if we find, I'll point it out, the scar looks like an owl. Yeah, and some look like a smiley face, some look like a heart. So look at the scars really closely on the branches, okay? The other one that we're not really gonna pay too much attention to, but you have these little tiny markings on your branch, the lenticels. So those can be different as well, different sizes, they can be closer, further apart. there's lots of ways to identify our trees. I want to challenge you guys to find as many different trees as you can. I'm going to give each family
And identify that they're different.
or what's that?
And identify that they're different.
Yeah, we're going to have different types of ways to identify them. So let's just not touch this though, right? What's this?
Poison ivy.
If there's a tree that has a little vine on it, let's not touch that vine. Because it's probably a poison ivy vine, potentially. And sometimes if they're really hairy looking, we know it's a poison ivy vine. If they're hairy, don't touch them. So make sure you don't start touching a tree that has that on it. But if it doesn't, go ahead and touch the bark. I'm going to give every family maybe one or two of these sheets. And it shows you a little bit about that tree and a little bit of information in the back. So I'm going to challenge you to try and find this one. And when you find it, come back and get a different tree identification from me. Sound good? It's like a scavenger hunt. The next thing we're going to do, though, and I do have those notebooks too if you want to write it down. Okay. Draw or draw it. I have what's called a dichotomous key. For some adults, you might need to help a little bit, but it's kind of fun to go through this because you can start at the beginning and figure out what tree it is just by going through this. Alternate branching or opposite branching. And then there's the next thing is compound, which when it's a compound leaf has lots of leaves on one section. If it's just a simple leaf, it's just one leaf. Yeah, this is one leaf, right? Compound leaves have multiple little leaves all together. It looks like one big leaf, but lots of little leaves, okay? So you're going to go through here, and you can try and figure out if it has thorns, it'll direct you one way. If it has long leaf stems, like they're really long stems, you can go this way. So it's going to point you in the right direction. If you have a question about it, you can come to me. So I'm going to give the adults each one of these.
Here's a
Thank you. Compound leaf. So they're all connected. See how at the base, all these leaves are connected? See, there's not really like a stem between them. There's just leaf and a leaf and a leaf and a leaf. They're connected to each other. This one's missing its leaf. This one's missing its leaf. So that would be a compound leaf. Instead of a leaf with a stem, it's all these leaves connected to each other on the same stem. You're really far ahead of me. What do you think you should do? Stop and wait up, right? Okay. All right, let's start our hike and see if we can find any of your trees. Who knows what this kind of tree is?
It's simple if it's just one leaf. It's compound.
Maple leaf. What is this kind? Can you show it?
Maple.
It's not maple. It's tulip, right? Can I see it really quick? You see how it's 4 points instead of 5? There's one way, but where's the tree?
Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. So we have to try and identify the bark sometimes when all the leaves are on the ground. We don't know for sure if this is where the tree was. Okay, we're going to get into the grass on this spot and look at the trees over here, okay?
What is this? I'm looking for my specific tree. That is
So,
look what I found.
so you said compound, but this is either alternating or what did I say? Remember? Alternating or opposite?
Ooh, don't touch me again with that, or it's no longer yours.
It's kind of hard to tell, huh? Is there another branch on this side?
Look what I have.
No, there's only one, right? So it's alternating. What? And then when you see branches, you guys, look for the buds. When you see branches on the ground, look for the bud. Can you look for your bud? Look for the bud. Yeah. There you go.
I found it.
So this bud, you guys, has 4 buds together, and they look very scaly. Can you show everyone? Pass that around. They're very scaly, and there's 4 buds together.
Compound.
So this one is not compound because look, there's a stem to that leaf. So it's a simple leaf. If there was another leaf attached right to it, it would be compound.
Oh, so it has to two leaves
Right next to each other. Yeah. Look for a leaf that matches this is your picture right now, you guys. Try and find it.
The first thing in the top is this place is kind of dirty. Mom, my friend is bad. This place is kind of dirty. I'm going to keep stuff.
You guys, simple or compound?
Compound.
Compound. See, they're right next to each other.
This place is kind of dirty. I'm going to clean it up.
Oh, I like that one. Another compound one, right? Compound leaves. Everyone listening? This is important. Here's an example of a tree you don't want to start touching. Okay, so if you're going to touch a tree, you're not always for sure what the vine is, because there's different kinds that look very similar to poison ivy. If it has hairs on it that have like little suction cups at the end of the hairs, that's usually poison ivy. It's hard to see the suction cup ends all the time, but this one to me looks like poison ivy. Not all of them, but that one does. Okay.
I saw my leaves.
I see some maples. I see sycamore. I see a few here. One might be
belong to?
That might be a beech.
There were beech nuts on the ground.
What is this?
What was it?
Beech nuts on the ground.
You want to grab one for me?
Compound.
Compound, yep. You have compound leaves. Ooh, so shagbark hickory is compound. So you found a beech nut?
I saw it.
Here's a whole one. And then they split off and they sort of stuck more with it.
So we also have the shagbark hickory, has it?
Here's something. I'm not sure.
Okay. Where's our...
What is this type of nut?
That's the inside of one of these.
Robot.
That's what it looks like on the inside.
Robot.
We got the bigger.
Robot.
Here we have the shagbark hickory nut looks like these green ones.
That one's another one.
That might be the Okay, you guys, so... Hey, friends, why do you think these are important? Why do you think trees are important out here?
Acorns and nuts and squirrels.
For who?
Squirrels.
For squirrels? Who else?
Animal friends.
Animal friends, right? The animals love this stuff, you guys.
Like
The deer, the squirrels, chipmunks. I want you all to pretend that you're one of the animals that might want to eat a nut. So as we walk through this trail, I want you to try and find a nut and see if you can fill your, you're not actually going to eat it, but see if you can find a nut and grab it and pretend you're filling your tummy, okay? Let me see how good you guys are at scavenging around for the nuts. Does anyone know what tree this is?
No.
Have you ever heard of the Indiana banana tree?
No.
Or the pawpaw tree?
No.
So they have
A
what?
I found one.
A birch?
I found one.
Birch tree?
I don't think so.
She's already carrying it.
So my friends, the Indiana banana tree, some people call it, or the pawpaw tree, has lots of different names. It has a fruit that kind of reminds people of a mango. So if you find one that's ripe, it's supposed to be really delicious. I tried it once, I liked it. But animals usually beat everyone to it. So if you find a pawpaw tree, yeah, it usually has to be out in the open a little bit more to start producing the fruit. So if it's really crowded and shaded out, it's not as likely to produce any fruit. So keep your eye out for another pawpaw tree. Yes, the honey locust, sorry. So the reason you guys will call it honey
Oh, you
locust,
already ate it.
did you know about these? If they're ripe,
I saw them before.
so if they're ripe and you open it up, the slimy stuff inside, you can actually, you can taste it. And it's kind of sour. It's like a sour taste to it. Which we're not going to do that. They're all dried up. So, yeah. Thank you. Okay, can someone point out a scar on this branch?
Up there.
Well, yeah, that's going to
Up
be a scar
there.
for sure.
Can I see a star? I found it.
Okay.
I see a star.
Can anyone identify this tree? Do we have anyone that has it on their sheet?
Stop pulling. Stop
I
pulling.
don't think it's a tulip.
Don't touch. Listen to the tree.
Look at the bark.
I stepped on a big one.
Do we have this on our list anywhere?
It's just that, like, hey, look at that.
Does anyone have a bud that looks like this? Look real closely at this bud. Does it look like a silver maple? Yours is a silver. No.
Mine has
Not
red
a
buds,
poplar.
not black
They have
buds.
green ones.
Looks like a claw.
Is it rounded or pointy?
Pointy.
Is there one or more pointing out? There's one. There's some round. Oh, there are some round ones.
Mine, I found it in
So, and are they soft? You don't have gloves on.
I picked it off.
Mine are both round and pointy at the same time. They
Okay.
also grow in groups and they're red.
Which one are you talking about?
Silver maple.
Okay. So this isn't a silver maple. Does anyone else have a sheet that they want to look at really quick with their kids? There might be one that has the buds that are rounded and pointed on your sheet. Maybe I have it.
No, I think it looks like this one here.
No, like the red oak. The bark doesn't look like a red oak though. Here's a leaf. So it looks just like a rounded, oblong leaf.
Oh, that nut is mine.
It might be the pawpaw. Okay, let's keep looking. Maybe we'll find a tree like it. Yep. Reminds me of the pawpaw tree. The tree we were just looking at, you guys, I do have some identification guides if anyone's really intrigued about some and want to look at some. Those two different buds on there identified it as a pawpaw. So the rounded fuzzy one and the straight sharp one. Okay, so good job. All right. Ooh. What's this?
Pawpaw.
Not me. It's not pawpaw, not maple. It reminds you of maple.
Look at that one.
So I'm gonna challenge you guys. I'm gonna challenge you guys in a second to see if you can find for me the largest one. But you need to find out what it is first. What kind of tree is this?
It's in silver maple.
It's that tree right there.
Silver maple.
Sycamore. Yeah. It's a sycamore tree, right? These trees can get huge. And guess what? People used to use them as temporary homes when they were building their cabins. Because the bottom of them would get like kind of worn away and you could live inside them. They were so big. So we're going to go past one on our hike today that you can check out. A little cavity. It's not huge, but you're going to get to check it out, okay? So I want to challenge you to see who can find the largest sycamore leaf, okay? Now look at these veins really quick. Are these veins?
Sycamore leaf.
Are these veins straight up and down? No. Are they kind of fingering out like a hand?
Yeah, a little bit.
They're not all coming from this base, right? So they're just the radiating ones. So they're just up and then coming out from the middle vein, right? Okay. Perfect, good job. You guys are finding a lot of stuff. What kind of tree is it? Do you remember what kind of tree has helicopters on it?
Maple.
Maple, yeah. So friends in the back, look what's hanging off this tree. Everyone point up to the tree. Point up to the tree. What's hanging off of it?
Helicopter.
Yeah, those helicopter-like seeds, right? So what kind of tree is it? Maple. Can you guys point to the direction that it's growing?
I can move.
Point to the direction. The sun. Did you know that trees can reach for the sun?
Yeah.
So if the sun cannot get to the tree on this side because all the other trees are blocking it, this tree has cells inside of it that go like this and they reach towards the sun. So that's why it's growing out that way. So that's where the sun is. What's the biggest one so far though?
These are the same size.
Are we going to make a vote? Should we have the adults vote on the biggest leaf? Pick two or three. Pick three leaves that are the largest leaves, you guys. And then stand up. Maybe with your one leaf, stand up. And show them. Let's see, which one's the biggest?
These are me and Gibson's.
Here.
These all go together.
Guys. Can you move up to the front so they can see your
Me
leaf?
and Gibson's go together.
I like yours.
So if you run one of us, you're throwing them both.
Guys, I think we might have... Can you hold this out? This one?
Yeah.
Or this one? Or this one? Or that one?
These are all the
Oh, no, that's perfect.
These all go
Yeah.
together. This
All right, I had a few, one of the kids come up to me and ask about what kind of leaf it was. There's a lot of different things you can find at the stores out there to help. I love this one, if you guys are interested in looking for an easy identification. So I'm going to let, if you find a leaf and want to compare it, we'll hand this around and you can compare it, okay? So who had the leaf that they asked me for identification?
Ours are bigger. Yeah, ours are bigger.
Did you get, where's that one leaf that's circulated, right?
Clearly mine is bigger.
Okay, well when you find it again, you use that. So this tree that's laying on the ground, right, what is the purpose of this tree in our woods? Why is it important still?
It's kind of like a house.
Yeah, it can be like a house. Things might live in it or under it. During the winter, a lot of different insects. The grubs will be down there during the winter staying warm. Our salamanders might be down there as well. Underneath. You got another thing to eat. Good job. What about... Oh. Hang on to that for a second. We'll identify it, okay? What's another purpose as it breaks down? This tree eventually won't be here anymore. Why is that good for the woods?
Fertilizer.
Yeah, so it's going to become soil, right?
Yeah, more nutritious soil.
More nutrition for the other trees around it. So do you think we want to remove every tree that falls down out of our woods? No, it's going to restore the woods and restore the nutrients in the soil for the animals and the trees around it, right? So these are really important, even though they're not alive anymore. They play a very important part of the cycle. Okay? So why are the leaves important for the stream, you guys?
What? Photosynthesis.
Not, well,
How deep is that?
you say photosynthesis?
Yeah.
Not photosynthesis anymore. They're not attached to the tree, right?
But then they can become nutrients.
I'm going to show you. They can become nutrients for what? For plants. And have you ever gone looking for benthic macroinvertebrates?
What?
What? What is that? Raise your hand if you...
Those are?
Where are they?
They're riding on the bridge.
Yeah, that's okay. That's meant to be there. Raise your hand if you've ever found insects under the water.
I found a mud bug.
A mud bug? Okay. Have you ever picked up a rock before and looked underneath it in the stream?
Yeah.
Yeah? There are little aquatic insects under there, and they love eating the detritus, which is all the leaf matter is part of the detritus that they eat and they use for energy and for substance. So the leaves are really important for those animals that live in our stream.
I'm going to help them guys throw this into the water.
You can, yeah, you can throw a leaf in.
I'm helping them.
Here, I want everyone to pick up a leaf. Have everyone pick up a leaf. I want you to drop it on this side and see if it makes it to the other side of the bridge.
Okay.
Drop it and then go and see if it hits the other side. Ever seen Pooh Bear do the
Mango.
I can't see. I see it. I see it.
I want to challenge everyone to see if they can find a very low branch and see if you can look at the bud. Just watch out for any, again, poison ivy that might be on the tree. What tree is this? Here's another sycamore. So, take a look at the sycamore buds, you guys. Did anyone see one yet? The sycamore buds are one of my favorite buds. They're very, they're almost like octagons a little bit. They're not rounded. They have edges along it, around the bud. So take a good look at this as you walk by.
Is this one?
Yeah, it's a sycamore bud.
Yep, that's part of it, Nora. That's part of the same brand.
Did you find the stuff? So if you look at this branch over here, you want to help me show everyone? Since you found it? The way that we were trying to identify it was by looking at the buds, but you can also look at the scar next to the bud. And it has 3 dots where the scar is. If you look closely at where... where these scars are. It looks the same. So we'll go right there. But you want to come up and look, you guys. So the bud used to be right here. Do you see that? And there's the scar.
Look at
Here,
this.
this is our aspen. Oh yeah. So when you're identifying trees during this time of the year, it might take a little while to figure it out. Like I said, I don't know every single tree, but if you carry around a good guide with you, like this one, which I love, I've grown to really, really like this guide.
We'll just put you in our turn.
You'll be able to find the similarities. So this game is going to require you to trust a partner, okay? You can do it with your adult if you want, that's fine. But one person, are you okay back there?
Stubborn right now.
We're going to play a game. Let's do this, bro. One partner is going to have their eyes closed. No cheating. Keep your eyes closed. The other partner is going to guide that individual to a tree. And they have to keep their eyes closed the whole time. So when you get them to the tree, they get to touch it and feel it and hug it and keep their eyes closed. And then the partner that guided them there is going to take them back to where they started them at. And then that partner opens their eyes and they have to figure out which tree they got brought to. Just by feeling it and hugging it, trying to memorize it without opening your eyes.
Can we touch trees to try to figure out which one we are guided to?
Yeah. After you open your eyes, you can like go and touch them and see which one you're guided to. But you have to try and remember just by your senses other than sight, and don't taste the tree. Okay? Okay. So I want you to partner up with someone. You guide me to a tree. No, just like and then put my hand on it. Partner your eyes. A little more. Not across. No. Don't feel any branch. Oh, there's a branch. I feel a branch. Okay, now you have to guide me back. Ready? So guide me back to where you got me. So it's higher than my hand, the branch, and I can fit my fingers around it, so it's not bad. Is it this one?
Turn to your right.
Is that it?
You're on the right. You're on the right. You're on the right. Okay.
You want me to guide you to one? Okay. Then you can try it with your family, okay? Ready? Close your eyes.
Okay. The four.
Because I don't know, it kind of looks like this one.
You feel any branches?
Can I pass it up with you? And then I go hold the stuff and I go, you.
You want to take your gloves off and feel it?
Take your gloves off. And then when you're ready for me to guide you back, let me know. Just put out your hand. Okay, ready? Open your eyes. Which tree was it? You can go feel it. You can go touch them. I don't know what type of tree it is.
Is that it? What do you think? Very good.
You got it? You go home. Good job. There you go. Okay, when you guys are
You feel
ready.
any branches? Can you reach up high? Do you want to take your glove off and feel it?
Okay.
You what? Oh, okay, you did. Okay, keep
Let me
your
know
eyes
when you're
closed.
ready.
It was fun.
It was fun? I got her back to where we were. Okay, open your eyes. job. Yeah. So these ones tend to be like the oaks tend to have like these lines, the oak trees. But I can't say for sure because there's no leaves. I'm trying to find the. I can't even see the buds. They're so high. There's one. I think I need binoculars. And you're an animal that lives out of the Metropolitan Nature Park here, and you're looking for a habitat. You're looking for somewhere to live, okay? So keep your eyes peeled for a place that might make for a good spot when it's cold out, and when it's raining, you're trying to get out of the rain. Okay?
I found my home. Well, we're probably gonna be neighbors. I bet we're gonna be neighbors. Yeah.
Hey, my friend.
I'm a squirrel. We found a place.
I see another spot. Remember when we talked about the sycamores, the huge sycamores being hollowed out inside?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go check this out.
Hey.
Send me that picture.
It's got me a crown.
How many in there? 6?
Right there. Look at the hole right there.
Not with a stick.
All I see is feet.
My friends, we're about to get to a point in our hike where we can go back up, and it's close to that time right now anyways. That hole in that tree though, that little cavity, what do you think might hang out in there?
Spiders.
Oh, spiders, yeah.
We saw a spider.
I don't know if a deer would use it, but maybe a fawn might check it out, right? A little fawn. A raccoon might hang out. Someone else mentioned a bobcat might hang out there. Snake might hang out there, right?
Snake.
There's a great place for a lot of animals. There was scat along this trail. Who knows what scat is?
Rabbit.
A rabbit?
That is their dung, right?
They're dung, right? It's a scientific name for a poo, right? We like to say scat instead of poo, right? So scat is what we call it scientifically. So the scat that I found on the trail was right in the middle, and I thought it was right around here, but I don't see it, so I don't know if something picked it up and went with it, but it might be further down. And when we find it, we can take a stick to it, and we can try and see what's inside of it, and that's how you find out what animal it might have been. Okay?
Not my stick.
So maybe that animal was using that little cavity.
Actually,
This looks weird too, though. All right. So it's right here, you guys. So make a circle around me. So let's not touch it just yet. Let everyone look at it. So how, by just looking, don't touch it yet. Sit back. How can you tell it's not just a dog, like a pet dog? Can you look at it?
it's super black.
It's super black. What else is in there?
No. Ow. I am giving the camouflage.
It kind of looks like there's like
a leaf on your head.
what a leaf, right? It kind of looks like there's green in there.
Yeah.
So if you want to grab a stick, we can together pull it apart. So let everyone get a stick. Whoever wants to get a stick and pull it apart can grab a stick. We'll wait for you.
If I'm strong enough, I might be able to snap the end off.
Any ideas?
What do you think that is, Max?
I know.
I think that's to me too. Spots? You may plant some spots.
I think it was black. Wow.
Yeah.
Black usually indicates blood.